Time to fuel your business success. Welcome to Harmonious at Lunch. We're bringing you bite-sized advice and expert conversations to drive clarity and growth 5 days a week. Make sure you join our Facebook group at humanop.com/lunch, where listeners like you and our guests hang out so we can find harmony in business together. If you're building a business, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice, and it's the weekly update. It's the WUpdate. If you're watching this when it drops or listening to it, I apologize. I'm a few days late. I'm going to admit that, and I'm deeply depressed at the reason. Just going to put that out there. So I've recorded this already 2.5 times, and all of those times, my microphone apparently wasn't working, and I only found out on 2 of those after the fact, after I uploaded the whole thing to YouTube. So this is not awesome, but we're here, and the episodes that we're going to talk about were awesome. So it's all going to be worth it, trust me. But last week was an awesome group of human beings, of individuals who were guests on this show. We started off the week with Marla Ballard. Then we had James DuBos, Victor Vauss, and Michael Cole. The episode topics were kind of all over the place, and some of them, I liked. The others of them, meh. I wasn't a huge fan of, but that's okay. I mean, I think across the board, the guests were incredible. I really put a focus and an emphasis on making sure you as the listener get the most out of this podcast. I try to ask the questions that are relevant to our listeners. I know many of you have 7-8-figure businesses and you're looking to scale. You're looking for what's next in business. And some of our guests this week just had more of a startup mindset or a hyper niche mindset that wasn't necessarily applicable. In those episodes, I always tailor my questions so that we can figure out what can we pull from this? What are the principles? What are the strategies, even the tactics that we can pull from this, not just focusing on growing smaller businesses. So I think we did a great job of that this week. And even though all 4 episodes weren't the best, I think the content was there and the guests were there. So let's recap it. Let's go through it super quick. I'm hoping this is a very quick episode because of the number of times I've recorded it, like I said before. But let's dive in with Marla Ballard. I think this was a great episode. It was about the personal side of business, which, if you've been a listener or a subscriber for a long time, I must bring this side of business in, because if you don't focus on yourself, the personal side, what's going on in your head, in your body, you can't grow a business. And it is just impossible. I've seen it time and time again. You can have short-term success, but if you don't focus on being a well-rounded entrepreneur, a well-rounded human being, you will crash and burn. It's just a matter of time. So we talked about the quantum side of business, which I absolutely love. We got to nerd out a little bit with Marla. She was a fantastic guest. And this episode was just top to bottom amazing. Made you think. Let's play a clip here from Marla. And if you're looking at the screen, the Quantum Business Leap is the thumbnail over on YouTube. Otherwise, if you're listening, just go find this episode and let's hear what Marla has to say.
I think a lot of things happen, but at least for the individual, I know that anytime I'm stuck, it's just because I've forgotten who I am. I've gotten beat up maybe a little bit by the world, or things not going the way I wanted them to, or my expectations weren't met, or I got disappointed, or I, put a lot of energy or effort into something that didn't go how I thought it should. Right. And so then we shrink back and we feel kind of diminished. But in that moment, we forget who we really are and who we came here to be, is what I think. I know that's how it is for me.
Amen to that. How many times has that happened to you? I know to me, too many times to count. But episodes like this and topics like this always remind me to come back to center, because that's all we can really control. And that's all that really matters in the long run. So thank you to Marla. Shout out to her for stopping by. Go check out that episode. Moving on to Tuesday's episode, James DuBos, me and James, we nerded out as well. And this was a super fun episode to record. James works on helping business owners get to exit. Whether you want to exit or not, the whole point is if you want to get there, if you want to have freedom as a business owner, you must have an exit-ready business. Again, you don't have to go through and sell your business. You could run your business till the day you die. It doesn't matter. But if it can't run itself, it's running you and it's running your life. And that's what I want to help you overcome, especially with these shows, with these episodes. And that's why I bring on guests like James. We talked about how to build for freedom, different metrics involved with scaling for with an exit in mind, and how to make sure you're setting up for a successful exit. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it on this show, but I've definitely mentioned it on podcasts where I've been a guest. I had an exit a couple of years ago at this point, and it is still in litigation. It was just I didn't select the person I sold it to well enough, and it turned out to be not a fit for that person. They turned around and said, well, this has to be someone else's fault, not my fault. Good way to accept responsibility first and foremost, right? But it's an expensive process, and it's a headache that honestly I wish I could take back, but it's over at this point and I just have to deal with it. Don't go down that route. If you want to sell your business, make sure you consult experts like James. You listen to podcasts like this. You expand your horizon of what's possible in business. I didn't consult those experts. I thought a business broker and a lawyer was good enough. Turns out, no, not even close. So make sure if you want to exit your business, you do the due diligence from the seller side too of selecting the right buyer. But having people in your corner like James is absolutely a must-have if you want to sell your business. Let's hear what James has to say about this episode.
Take care of your customers, because take care of your employees because they take care of your customers. By doing those things well, those employees are going to take care of those customers the way you would, or if not better in many cases. And so that's been my own journey. My own journey is focus on that employee because they're the one who's going to be day in, day out on the, with the customer. Customers will always want to talk to you. They'll always want to know Brandon's reachable, but at the end of the day, they're willing to interact on a day in, day out basis with anyone inside of the four walls of the business.
Absolutely. Such a good point to make from James. And that's the stuff that will carry through whether you exit or you just want to step away from the business. You have to have employees who are bought in. Now, I didn't put this on the screen for those of you watching, but the thumbnail for this episode now is on the screen. Recurring Revenue Matters. Go check that one out over on YouTube. Jumping on over to day 3 of last week, the Wednesday episode, 0 to Millions is the thumbnail, and Victor Vauss was the guest. We talked about rapidly scaling your business. Now, Victor, this is one of those episodes that I think was more focused on the startup and solopreneur than it was on the larger enterprise type business. But we did talk about even how you could explore new markets, new verticals, new niche products or services for your existing business. And I tried to gear the episode that way. So while this on the surface may not seem like it applies to you, I would encourage you to listen to it through that lens. Listen to it from the lens of, if I want to expand my service offering, my product offering, and I want to test the market, what are some different ways I can do that to quickly be validated, or to see if I shouldn't pursue this vertical, but I can do it at a way where it doesn't cost me time, money, effort, at least significantly. This was a cool episode from that perspective. And Victor was an incredible guest. He scaled multiple 8-figure businesses. He sold some of them, still working in some of them. But he's someone who truly has that freedom that I just talked about in James's episode, that it's really, really cool to see as a guest on the show. So let's hear what Victor has to say here. And I encourage you to go check this episode out through that lens.
For example, don't say my guide's going to help you gain muscle. You can be like, are you 25-year-old hard gainer? Well, I'll help you put 2 inches on your bicep in 6 weeks. It's just much more specific, and your audience is much more specific. Your audience is more specific. Your language is more specific. And the more specific you get, the more likely you are to convert.
Yeah, great tips. And again, like I said, look at it through the lens of, how do I test a new market? How do I test new messaging? How do I test for my already larger scaled up business that I want to take further? And that's a great mindset and a great lens to apply it to your existing business. And again, just move faster in the marketplace, which is the whole goal, right? Rounding out the week, we had Michael Cole with the new Gold Rush. And this was another one of those episodes that was super targeted. It was all about the trades. Now, I love exploring this because I think the shift in the marketplace and the demand on the workforce is very interesting. And from that, we can all kind of learn and extrapolate what's going on in our own industry. That's why I wanted to go ahead and have this episode with Michael. And he's doing something really, really interesting. He's capitalizing on this gold rush of the trades where there's not enough people going into the trades. And there's a huge opportunity. So he has actually two businesses that complement each other. He has one business where he's in the IT field, where, like, imagine running cables, right? Data cables and internet lines in houses, in companies, where he oversees the technicians and runs and owns the business. He also has a training company where he recruits and trains those individuals and will help them get jobs in the workplace, other trades jobs in the workplace. And he wants to expand into other things like plumbers, electricians. There's such a shortage of skilled talent these days. And he saw that and said, what can I do about it? Well, I have an area of expertise. Let me expand and help these people find jobs. And now he can make money on kind of both ends of that spectrum. And he's going to absolutely capitalize and kill it over the next 3 years, few years, because of what's going on in the marketplace. So when you listen to this episode, look at it through that lens of what's going on in the marketplace. What are the shifts that are coming because of AI, because of just a weakened workforce, whatever it may be, weakened economy even. What can I do to capitalize? Because there's always opportunity. When people are saying that there's something wrong or there's a problem where everybody's running one direction, I promise you the opportunity is always in the other direction. So people are saying there's a shortage of skilled labor. There's a lack of desire for younger people, Gen Zers, to even go into the trades. Well, guess what? That smells like opportunity to me. And if it doesn't to you, then listen to this episode and figure out what you can do and how you can apply this in your business and your industry to massively capitalize over the next few years. Let's check out what Michael has to say.
The 4-year college degree and so forth, that whole education system isn't for everybody. And I think people are starting to realize that. And so the trades is a great option that I think needs more attention. But I think the coolest part about that is what we could be doing is talking more about how do we get people involved. And I think it does go into kind of linking things up with social media. You'd be amazed how much of the trades now is on social media. In fact, we're seeing a big uptick the more stuff we're starting to post through TikTok and other of these avenues where it gets people excited to see the different types of jobs they could be doing. And some of this stuff is kind of sexy. Like, we're in infrastructure, so cabling and the data centers, it's like it's just a step below IT. Sometimes IT's involved. Like, it's kind of cool to see the different things you can build and then how beautiful it looks when you're done.
Absolutely. The trades are sexy. Michael said it, not me, but I think it's funny. And it's true that I think there's a huge opportunity there. But again, be on the lookout for the opportunities in your business, your industry, whether you're in the trades or not. Things are changing. And that always means there's something that can be taken advantage of that other people are not seeing. And that somebody could be you. So I hope you enjoyed these 4 episodes this week. If you haven't listened to them, go back and listen to them. Again, I apologize for this being a few days late, but we got it out. We got it done. And the microphone, although I want to squeeze it and throw it out the window, it held in there and it worked. I hope you enjoy this. Hope you subscribe to the podcast, and we'll see you back next week or this week, depending on when you're listening to it, for more episodes of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for tuning in.
Another episode of Harmonious at Lunch in the books. I hope this episode made you think and you grabbed some actionable ideas to propel your business. Don't forget to like, comment your takeaways, and subscribe wherever you're listening so we can help more entrepreneurs just like you achieve harmony in your life